Financial performance. We're talking sales, we're talking profit, we're talking keeping costs down. All the most important elements of a business, right? Well, yes, they are all extremely important, but financial performance measures alone don't give a full overview into the success of a business. And a lot of the time, financial performance measures can be too short term. They can give only an indication of the short term performance of a business. And so, in order to overcome the short termism that's present in financial performance measures, Kaplan and Norton developed the balanced scorecard, which is a commonly tested topic at all levels of the CIMA syllabus, and it comes up time and time again in both objective test exams and in case study exams. So it's definitely a topic to make sure that you're really confident on. And the key principle behind it is that managers are appraised and evaluated on a range of measures, which include both non-financial and financial measures, so that their focus is both long and short term. So, for example, cutting spending on training to boost short-term profits would need to be balanced against longer-term aims of achieving a specific number of staff training days, for example. Now, the scorecard sets out 4 key areas in which company and divisional performance should be measured. So there's the customer perspective, the internal business perspective, innovation and learning perspective, and the financial perspective. So the customer perspective, as you may have guessed, is all about the customer and focusing on meeting their needs. Now, we talked about some possible customer-related non-financial performance indicators earlier, so just have a think about certain metrics that might be included. And you may be thinking of measures like customer satisfaction, so this might be understood by reviewing a customer satisfaction survey. There's measures such as the number of returns showing how satisfied a customer is with a certain product, how long a customer's waiting before they're served or before they receive their delivery, and actually just how many customers a business has, how many customers they're able to retain, and how many are moving to the competition. Okay, so internal business perspective is again fairly self-explanatory. It's all about the way the business works and operates, and in particular, how productive and efficient the business is. And again, we covered some productivity indicators earlier, so metrics such as production time per unit, how many units are coming off the production line with faults or with defects, how much it's costing to produce each unit, and how much waste a business has. These are all metrics that can be used under the internal business perspective. Okay, so the innovation and learning perspective then. This is focused around innovating in product and processes and developing and learning for the future. Now, learning is much more than just the traditional training or formal qualifications you might be thinking of. It actually includes any kind of organizational improvements that are made. And there are a number of different metrics that a business may wish to understand in order to assess their performance in this measure. So things like how many new products are being developed and going to market. How long is it taking to develop new products? How much time and money are they spending on these new and innovative ideas? And how many qualified staff do they have? These are all measures which are geared towards understanding how innovative a company is and how they're learning from their past performance. And then the final element of the balanced scorecard is the financial perspective, which is all about wealth and financial survivability. So this includes all of the ratios as well as looking at variances and trends in order to understand how the financial performance of a business has changed over time and in comparison to their competitors and the industry norms. Now, with all of these measures in each category, it's really important that each of them are linked to strategy. So they need to be focused on the long-term direction of a business. So clear objectives should be set under each category according to the SMART criteria. So these objectives need to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And they need to be measured at the end of a period and the lessons learned from actual results need to be used in order to improve performance in future periods and keep the organisation on track to achieve their long-term strategic goals. So each business is going to have different metrics by which they measure success, and therefore this requires a different focus for the balanced scorecard depending on the business and the industry in which they're operating. So let's look at a football club's balanced scorecard just to illustrate the different measures under each of the perspectives. And many of these measures are going to be very different to a company who are manufacturing a product, for example, because if we think about the customer of a football club, they're going to want very different things than the customer of a normal business. So, for example, they're going to be interested in match results, the attendance figures, how their club are performing in relation to other clubs, where are they in the league, what is their cup success. And when thinking about internal business perspective, it's less about an actual finished product, it's about the players. So are they able to recruit and retain players? Do they have adequate health and safety measures in place to make sure all their players are protected? Now, again, as there's no specific product being produced, the innovation and learning perspective is going to take a slightly different angle in the case of a football club. It's going to be focused on the amount of training that the players and coaches at the club are provided with, as well as looking at general improvements that the club can make to areas like its corporate social responsibility. So, for example, have they taken steps to improve their carbon emissions? Are they using recyclable packaging in their fast food stands at football games? All of these different factors. Now, the financial perspective, like with every other business, is going to be focused on things like profits, costs, revenues, and budgets. And this is fairly typical of all profit-making organisations. They're going to have very similar financial metrics. Okay, so hopefully through this you can see that there are a huge range of different factors that a business may wish to consider when it's looking at analysing its performance. And in particular, these factors are going to vary hugely depending on the company and the industry in which they're operating in. And this example of the football club really nicely highlights the point that the performance indicators which are relevant to a company which are providing a service are very different to those performance indicators for companies operating in the manufacturing industry, for example. And so that's a brief, quick overview into the balanced scorecard. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, remember to like, rate and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.